Hi everyone, I'm Laura from GoSimpli, and today's Stackable 10 is going to be a walking workout mixed with mobility. So we're going to do 30 seconds of walking, followed by 30 seconds of a mobility move to just get a large range of motion. So we're just going to start right in here. My timer's set for 5 seconds from now, and we're starting with the walking. Okay, so we're just going to start marching in place. You don't have to stand in place. You can move around, you can go sideways, you can go forwards and backwards, you can do whatever works for you. But I really want you picking up those feet as much as you can. And swing those arms as well. You might as well get a little bit more in there. And our first up mobility move is going to be a forward hinge at the hips. So I'm going to put my feet shoulder width apart, hands behind my head, and I'm going to hinge at my hips. Okay, so I'm not bending the back, I'm bending right here at the hip and just bending over. Okay, so it's important that we learn how to hip hinge properly. It can really protect our back, especially the low back. So we're just going to do this for a few more seconds. It's not a super fast move. Excellent. Now we're going to go back to some marching. Walking forwards, backwards, sideways. If you have tons of energy and you want to jog it, by all means, go for that as well. And don't be afraid to sort of let your foot hit the ground, not necessarily stomping, although stomping is good, but that little bit of jarring is really good for our bones. Okay, so next up, we're going to try and bring opposite arm to the inside of the foot, so like the ankle or the arch of the foot. And try and bring that leg up to the hand and not sort of bend over for it. So we're opening up the hips here, as well as getting those arms, we want them way out to the side. Pull them back so that you're really getting a nice back stretch in there. Okay, and back to walking. And again, feel free to go forwards and back. We don't walk backwards very often, and it feels very different on those muscles. If you have lots of room and you can continue to walk back longer than just a few steps, feel free to do that. In fact, if you're outside in a safe area, doing some backwards walking, it's good for the brain, but it's also good. The legs are used differently. There's real emphasis on those hamstrings. Okay, so now we're going to go behind and we're going to try and tap those heels. Okay, so now we're engaging those hamstrings and we're getting lots of knee flexion here. So really getting some extra mobility in those joints. And again, we've got those arms wide. Okay, really pulling them back, shoulder blades together. Just a few more seconds here and then we'll be back to walking. Okay, back to that walking. My cat, Boo, she's not very motivating. You can't see her because she's just off screen, but she's lying on the carpet. She has her paws curled up against her. She's on her back. Her tummy's just sort of splayed out. Actually, to be morbid, she looks a little bit like roadkill right now, but she's not. She's fully alive and breathing and well. Okay, so next we're going to do some hip opening. Okay, so we're going to take those feet as wide as possible and we're going to lean off to one side and come back up and then the other. So here we're getting nice inner thigh mobility. You can go down as low as is comfortable for you. It might just be a little bit at first and that's just fine. You may be able to find that you can go a little deeper as the interval progresses. So just touching the ground if you can. Excellent, and now we're back to marching. Our next one is a bit of an easier one. It's some upper body mobility. So again, we're just marching in place for a bit here. My shoe is squeaking. I don't know if you can hear it on camera, but it's a bit funny. Okay, so we're just going to do some really big arm circles. Okay, so you can stop your feet all together if you want here. So really big, we're going to do half of it in one direction. So if you're going forwards or backward, doesn't matter. At the halfway point, which is right now, we're going to switch directions. And I want big, big circles, okay? Really get those shoulders rotating. Okay, and we're back to marching. My shoe's making me laugh. So again, forwards and backwards. Okay? Or standing in one spot, it's up to you. If you have music you want to put on, you can definitely do that. Okay, and our next mobility move, we're going to get down low. So we're going to just, sort of, and see if you can tap the knee down and then put it up. And then if you can, switch. Tap the knee down, put it up. So we're getting a plank in there. That's a little bit sneaky, but very good for our core. We gave the legs a break the last time because I knew this one was coming. All right, so back up to marching. A lot of mobility happens through sort of the hip socket in the hip joint. If we constantly just move in a forward and back motion, then the side to side for the hips doesn't get the attention it needs. It needs to be able to do both. Okay, so next we're going to get some rotation through our mid. So we're going to turn. I like to put my hands up on my shoulders. And we're not going to do it fast. We're not going to swing side to side. We're going to let the muscles through our core pull us to the side. Okay, so it's not swinging. We want to pull it to the side. So really actively think about that. Okay, so back to marching. I'm losing track of how many intervals we've done, so hopefully my timer will have it right. Okay, so the next one, we're going to put two things together. So we're going to go down into a squat, and then we're going to come up and do a pull for the back. Okay, so I'm going to show you that from the side. So I've got my feet hip distance apart. I'm going to squat down. As I come up, raise my hands and pull them down, okay? So using the muscles in the back to pull my elbows down. And again, only squat as low as is comfortable for you, but do know that the lower you go, the more those quads are going to come in and help with those knees. Okay, back to marching. We're getting near the end, I think. I'll know when the timer hits about 10 minutes because, it's our stackable 10. So again, you can go forwards, you can go backwards, you can stand in one place, you can turn on some music, you can go side to side, get a little bit more hip mobility. Okay, so next up we're going to do a fun one. We're going to do some hip circle rotations. So one direction and then the other. So you're really going to stick your bum out behind you. And again, we're working on that hip hinge here. We're not bending the back. Okay, so I'll show you from the side, even though I feel a little silly sticking my bum way out there. But that's what we need to do. Okay, and back to walking. This is our last walking interval, I'm pretty sure. But we still have one more mobility after this as well. Okay, so just a few more seconds here, and then we'll get on to our last mobility. Okay, and so for our last mobility, we're simply going to side stretch over. And again, get some movement through our core and really try and get that arm to go up over the ear. So not in front. We don't tend to have as much mobility issue in front of the body. We have more mobility issues reaching towards the back. So I want that hand right up over that ear. Excellent job. It's amazing how quickly 10 minutes goes by. You should be really proud of yourself for squeezing in just 10 minutes a day. And if you have more time, feel free to check out another one of my Stackable 10 videos and stack them together to make it longer. See you next time.